Hello, this is doing the scenario video for our class this week. And yes, I am filming from my bathroom. I have two small children, they're already awake, and they're getting to that age where they're like screaming a lot, and I didn't really want that in the background. So if you hear knocks at the door, it's probably my 3-year-old. Just ignore it. Alright, the scenario I chose was the must win scenario, where the parent came to, it said the emotionally stable probe, I think is what it said. But we all know it's the athletic director that's really calm, which is something I hope to be. And basically, what the CP was wanting to do was to inquire about getting rid of the head football coach. All right, and there was a dialogue in between them. The CP really pushed that he had a school board member that was one of his close friends, and that if the athletic director or this probe uh, didn't do something about it, then he would take it to them. So he kind of was threatening right off the bat. Um, the person or the other person in the strategy and what we had to read questioned them a lot. Different questions, like, well, what's the issue? Why do you want to fire him? Uh, and just nice long dragging questions like that. And basically, what it boiled down to was that the team wasn't winning. And of course, the person asked the question, well, winning is the objective in any sport. It is an objective. But are there any other objectives that you see? Kind of turn the tables on the CP. And of course, the CP was sarcastic, saying something about, well, now I'm going to hear about team building and character and sportsmanship and stuff like that. Something you would typically hear from the must-win people. Um, and then as it goes on, uh, the questions go back and forth about what the coach does in the off season, what the coach doesn't do in the off season, the weights program, um, how his son had been playing forever, and that the coach was ruining his shot at his college scholarship, and things of that nature. Okay, all kind of the same stuff that I hear a lot from must-win parents. And I'm at the junior high level, so I can kind of brush it under the rug and say, hey, look, I'm just getting them prepared for the next level. But as an athletic director at a high school program, you can't brush that under the rug. You kind of have to deal with it. Not to say that I don't deal with it. I do deal with it. I try to smooth things over the best I can. It usually works. They understand the junior high level pretty well. I feel bad for the high school coach, but he deals with it pretty well too. With that being said, our assignment asked us about a process that we would take. My process would be very similar to what the emotionally stable, I'm just going to say athletic director, what the athletic director did there is I would ask those leading questions to see what is the actual root cause of the problem. That would be my first step, is to say, okay, what's your deal? All right, literally, like, I want you to tell me what your problem is through a series of leading questions such as that. Once I got to that point, the scenario started talking about, once I get to that point, and kind of going back to the scenario talked about evaluations. Okay, now evaluations would be an excellent tool to have on hand when something like this happens. I know that our CPs aren't always coming to the office to talk to us. They're usually on the field or in the grocery store, at church. Yeah, at church. So we don't have that stuff readily available in our hands. But the evaluation papers, how we evaluate our coaches, is something huge. So next part of my process is I need to make sure that I've evaluated my coaches. Uh, you know, I would like to have, when I'm an AD, like a preseason evaluation, a mid-season evaluation, and then a postseason evaluation. Okay, it gives me how it was, if it changes, and then what it is at the end. So that can help me out, because if the the CP claims that his kid and all of the other team thinks he's doing a bad job. Well, if my midseason evaluation says otherwise, and I can say, hey, all right, this is not the issue according to stats, because you can't argue stats, all right, unless you think they're flawed. But then again, it's a survey. You keep the survey papers and you show them. Okay, so that would be another step in my process. I'd make sure to have those evaluation papers readily available if they come into my office, and then show them, hey, this is what's going on. Okay, we'll see if there's any kind of correlation to what you're saying versus the stats. Which there may be. You never know. Maybe there is. Maybe there's something you overlooked, or maybe the coach is doing a crappy job, and this is the first parent, or sorry, CP to call you out on it. My process is we figure out what's the issue, we look at the evaluations, and then we go into the discussion of the objectives of high school sports. All right? And we can back that up by having what our national and our state high school federations or associations say about athletics. Because I guarantee you they're not going to say the number one goal of athletics is to win. I know it's not. So have that as evidence. Calmly talk to them and say, hey, we love to win, but our main objective is to make this a learning experience outside of the classroom. It's not to win. It's not the main objective. If it was, well, we'd be paid a lot more money because we'd be the NFL. Okay? So, with that being said, you show them that. You show, this is the true objectives of athletics, and this is what we're trying to do. And then apologize. Hey, if this is not what your main objective is, we're sorry. But that's what it is for the state, or the national, the state, and then us. Because that's what we build our program off of. Okay? With that being said, you show them the evaluation, you show them what their objectives are, and then say, hey, we know there's still going to be an issue. We're going to be working with the coach and asking him some of these same questions and looking into it. Not flat out saying, oh yeah, we're going to get that guy fired because he's doing an awful job. Okay? Not the case. I've had coaches where we've gone 0-10, but they still preach the objectives is what we're looking for. An educational setting outside of the classroom to learn. And guess what? After a few years of building, turns it around. We have a really successful couple seasons in a row that I got to be a part of my junior senior year. So, with that being said, talk to the coach, say, give the CP something, because they came in. If they leave with nothing, that's worse, because then they're going to start making it spread like wildfire. You guys know media, Facebook, yeah, it happens. So give them something, say, hey, we're going to work with it, and then we'll get back with you. Always have the follow-up. The follow-up's going to be an important part of the process. Have the follow-up, because a lot of times ECPs, they just want to blow off steam. They just want to vent, just like anybody else. And then they'll come and they'll meet you. They might even come and meet you and say, hey, you know what, I was out of line, and, winning is great, but after reflecting on it, we're just not there yet. And I think that I, overemphasized in our last conversation. So the follow-up is a very important part of this process. Follow up with them, say, hey, we did this, and this is the route we're going to go. And just explain to them that way. Most of the time, like I said, it's a vent thing, and they'll be fine. Of course, that's not all the time. You are going to have those people that just keep hanging on, and we call those, people's thorn in my side people. All right? So after that, my process, make sure to tell the administrators of your building what's going on, and then, of course, the coach. Hey, I don't want to spring on this last moment. Trust me, you don't. And then, like I said, get the follow-up and actually try to resolve the situation. Okay? This has been great. I don't know how the sound's going to turn out in the bathroom, but whatever. I gave him a shot. He didn't hear any screaming kids. So, thank you.